Welcome into Thursday edition of Robby and Rexrode here on 102.5 The Game. I am Joe Rexrode. Robby Stanley today, little under the weather. We have our good friend Paul Kaharski in for Robby. And one good thing about this, I have a little more distance. You know, you and I have a little more distance to you between each other, which I think is nice.
You like that, do you?
I do like that. Ian Safar producing. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. So, how are you guys?
I'm well.
We're all
great,
healthy
thanks.
in here.
Can't speak for Ian over there.
Well, I will say, if any indication on my drive home or my drive in this morning, be prepared for a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe some traffic today. Just complete idiocy out there this morning for people.
That's no different than any other.
It was a little bit extra today.
Was it?
Yeah, just
It's sub-freezing.
just some people swerving.
Dumber?
Yeah, just like, quick exit, swerve a couple lanes over, no signal.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
An RV kind of moving over to the left lane, going 60.
So we're talking 65 here?
northbound. Yeah.
Okay.
There shouldn't even be people on the road at the hour that you come in. What time do you leave your home?
I leave my home a little bit before 5.
Yeah, there should be no people on the road. Stay home.
Hey, by 5 a.m., you guys are on 65. That's great. Come over to 24 for a minute. Come on over to 24.
Nobody wants
if you got
to be
any
on
problem.
24. The highways are ranked in this town, and 24 is the dead last.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that by 5 a.m. on 24, it is a parking lot. I mean,
at least it's not a parking lot, but trucks moving over through yield lanes. It's just wild out there today. So just head on a swivel, people.
It's embarrassing to be driving on 24.
Is it, Paul?
I think it is.
Okay.
For you,
Okay.
and not for others. I mean, others have their reasons, but I don't know what you're doing over there.
I mean, it's the fastest way here, so that's why I'm on it.
But don't live near 24. Is my point.
I live like 2 miles from you, jackass.
It's not really 2 miles. If it was 2 miles, you'd be on 65.
I mean, I could go 65. It's about 3 minutes longer, but I'm going to take the shorter route.
And you see how that goes.
There you go. That's about 2 miles.
See how that goes for you.
All right. So today I'm not sure that we may have Darby Hendrickson, Fred's assistant coach. We're gonna check on that. We do have Charles Robinson, as always on Thursday, the 8:00 hour. Talk all things NFL. We are going to talk a lot of NFL, a lot of Titans today to make PK comfortable. Although I mean I could
go always. I got a lot to say on Penn State. A lot.
Okay. Well, I may have to change the rant then. You taking the rant today? Is that right?
We can go either way. My rant is worthy of conversation outside the rant, so we can go wherever you want.
Okay. I will say real quick before we get into the Titans, and of course I'm taking advantage of Robby not being here. Robby, get better. Hope you're feeling okay. Robby, young kids. Ian has young kids. You get those germs. They're floating around, man. I will say that Vanderbilt men's basketball. Unfortunately, they don't have a great non-league schedule. We haven't been able to see them against any top teams. They might be like really, really good. Like of the Vanderbilt teams in this school year, which I mean has a chance, I think, to be like the best Vanderbilt school year of sports ever. Vandy MBB might actually end up being the best of these 4 teams. And I'm talking, of course, men's basketball. Women's basketball is ranked. They're very good, too. Big win yesterday. Michaela Blakes now has 1,000 career points. She's a month into her second season. She has 1,000 career points a month into her sophomore season. So, player of the year candidate. And, of course, baseball's, we know what Tim Corbin's going to have. We know football has the greatest season ever. Men's basketball, I mean, I'm very interested to see when they start playing in the SEC. They put 90+ on St. Mary's, which no one does. They dominated a good, not great SMU team last night. I'm just throwing the warning shot out. They might be like 2-3 seed good this year, SEC contender good.
That'd be great. I think I'm like a lot of people in the city. Like I pay a lot more attention after football's over, and
right.
The ability to pay attention to multiple things has shrunk for me. I think with age,
but shrunk with your brain.
Yeah. But I also think, I mean, I see that amongst younger people as well.
The inability to
focus on multiple.
Well,
things.
Young people. Can't
focus on one thing.
I mean, I think TikTok is probably just going to kill the human race, right?
The smartphones has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We're bad.
find
I mean, I'm
myself
bad
that
too.
way too.
Yeah.
Even, you know,
I still scroll Twitter sometimes, and I'm like, what am I doing? I've been looking at this for like 20 minutes. What am I doing?
20 minutes. I mean,
But I'm saying like 20
that's a miracle.
straight, but 20 straight minutes. You know what I mean? When you should be doing something productive. I mean, that's
You do 20 straight minutes. That's impressive. I do an hour and 20 minutes.
okay. Well, then you have bigger issues than me.
Yeah, I've
Good
got
to know.
big issues.
Yeah, but you get to drive on 65. Good for you.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, that's a win. It's an
Yeah.
outright win.
exactly. So anyway, Vanderbilt,
they look good.
Duke
The transfer
Duke
portals
Miles-
are crazy, man, with this college basketball.
Yeah, so Duke Miles from Oklahoma is, really good. They had some other guys
The
in.
Washington,
but-
right? Was it the
yeah,
big kid from North Carolina?
He's, but three guys who came back: McLaughlin, Tanner. Or I'm sorry, yeah, McLaughlin. Nickel, and then Tyler Tanner is so much better. Sophomore, was originally a Statcast recruit, had 26 last night. Last year, he was a good guy off the bench, defensive player. He never turned the ball over here and there to hit a shot. He's
looked good
becoming
last
like
night.
a star. I mean, potentially he can do everything well. So just throwing that out there, Vanderbilt fans. I mean, I don't know how much joy Vanderbilt fans can have. Like no playoff, but everything else. You're getting the quarterback from Georgia flipped. You got great basketball teams. You might have the Heisman winner. Kind of a crazy time for the Vanderbilt.
Great
fans.
time.
Yeah. All right. So Tennessee Titans. So I this is you who got me, I guess, attuned to this, PK, which is I just want to talk a little bit about Jeff Simmons. We talked a lot about Jeff Simmons. I mean, look, he's the best football player on the Titans. He's having a great year. Good for him. I mean, to me, this is his best year since 2021 easily. And that's not easy to do when not that he's old, but when you have some injuries and you maybe fall off a little bit. I mean, I think what he did to get himself in shape was smart and has been very impactful. But I also feel, PK, a couple of things. One, sounds like this is wearing on him. Like even as much losing as he has endured here, like this season, and maybe Titans fans feel the same way. Maybe you and people who cover this team on a daily basis feel more the same. I don't know. You tell me. It just seems like some of his comments, like the weight of it is hitting him. And I wonder, when we're going to hear from him and some of the stuff he said, but also I wonder from you. You have been critical of him. So have we, about not being a great leader. I've heard this year some things about him as a leader that's like, from media in this town that I'm like, maybe pump the brakes a little, right? Like, I think there's in some ways he's very effective, but is he in every way? But two questions for you. Is he okay? And also, is he turning into like the guy who, leads the Titans out of all this stuff at some point? He's the face of that.
I mean, he's better in the leadership department for sure. But I don't think he's built to be the guy for a team. I don't know how many defensive tackles are built to be the guy. I mean, unless you're Aaron Donald, that's not there are limitations for certain positions, right? Yeah,
I guess. But I feel like you could probably find someone at every position who has been that guy just because of personality. Don't you think so? I mean, obviously your quarterback is going to be, and maybe, I guess maybe middle linebackers. Just, I don't know, whatever. It seems like a lot of safeties are good leaders.
I mean, the same way that Cam Ward needs a lot more help, Jeffrey Simmons needs a lot more help. I expected that he was getting more help when they recrafted this roster in a lot of ways. And I think Cody Barton's trying like hell to lead. But this goes back to that big debate I had with Vrabel about, do you need to be productive to lead? I think you absolutely need to be productive to lead. So I think Cody Barton speaking like a leader and acting like a leader is diminished when he doesn't play like a leader. And so that weakens him. I think Amani Hooker, who's been a good leader on this team, but is a quieter guy, has weakened his status as a leader this year when he hasn't played well after getting an extension. And I still think Jeff is the person that everybody's A, looks to, maybe too much, and B, listens to because he is a willing speaker taking on that role. But he's clearly miserable and, done trying to paint a happy face on an unhappy situation.
So first of all, I agree with you on the Vrabel debate. Who was, remind me, who
Deion Lewis is the person I was persistently asking about, who he kept casting as a leader, listing as a leader. And I was saying, don't you have to be doing something in order to lead?
was that post Derrick
And he
Henry
said
taking
no.
over in the backfield?
No, I think it was while things were in flux. But then, then I got in a sticky situation because I asked Logan Ryan about it. Logan Ryan said, yeah, you have to produce to lead. And then I wrote a story saying, well, here
I
are two
remember
Super
this.
Bowl winners with different views on it. And Logan took it as me kind of trying to pit him against Vrabel, which I wasn't doing.
It's so weird that Logan Ryan, who is a really smart guy, got so sensitive about that.
Well, what happened is he heard from a lot of his buddiys in New England who were like, oh, you and Vrabel's going at it, huh? And he didn't react to that well.
Now I remember all this. Deion Lewis as a great leader. He's a great blocker of media. I was
going to say, probably
people.
get you blocked on Twitter, PK, for that.
Yeah, he leads the charge to block the people.
Yeah. I think you absolutely have to be one of the best players to be a leader. You can be wow, NWI, good for you, or Aaron Brewer, or whatever. Like, look at those guys. They're overachieving.
Right. Lead beyond your stature.
Lead. Yeah, you need to be one of the best players. And then, so I have another question as it relates beyond Jeff to that point, and we will get to that next. Also, hit us up on the game phone and text line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai. I got this. WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. And also the YouTube chat. We'll be right back. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode 125 the game. Text line, again, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let me say that clearly and correctly. Liam McLeod, I didn't even see his text early in the show. He's like, can we please talk about my Vanderbilt basketball team? I didn't even say it.
You just did it.
And I just did it.
You're just jiving with him.
And he's like, I know the Titans are PK's thing, but Robby is out, Joe. Let's talk some basketball.
He did.
It's been, I will say this again, a quick little college basketball interlude. College basketball this year has done a great job. Now they've had two massive rating games already, 6 million plus, peaking at 15 million. Now both of those games were drafting off NFL games on Thanksgiving, but still, overall, college basketball has done a way better job of giving us really good games consistently from top teams. We've got you going to be at the Bridgestone this weekend, PKM? Little Gonzaga, Kentucky Friday, little Tennessee, Illinois Saturday. I'm going to be at both games. You'd be there?
I'm going to Cleveland this weekend.
Well, that's not till Saturday.
The site of my birth.
I mean, really, you could get up there like early Sunday,
I'm going to Cleveland this weekend, Saturday, the city of my birth.
I was born outside of Cleveland.
Were you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Painesville Hospital,
Look at
Painesville,
you.
Ohio.
I was born at the Cleveland Clinic.
So, yeah, I lived there until I was 12.
Nice.
I lived there till I was
Some
7.
Ohio roots. So I hope you guys are both able
us.
to drive better than most people from Ohio.
Is that a thing? Ohio's bad drivers?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
It's insane.
I'm thinking about not getting a car this time and just living by Uber.
I mean, are you downtown? Why not? Why get a
downtown.
car?
Here's why. Because coming out of NFL stadiums, even as late as I do, they keep this bubble on. Do you get this? I know you go to a college game once in a while. They let you.
Uh-huh.
They keep the bubble on. And so I can't come out of the media exit and get an Uber there. And then I don't know where the Uber area is at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night in the cold. And the Uber driver can't explain to me where he is. And I spend an hour walking around finding the area the Uber driver is allowed to go, even though there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I want the Uber right here outside the media entrance.
Right.
That's the reason I don't do it sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a pain. I mean, some places I think are easier than others. You just go find a place, right?
Yeah.
Some aren't. But
I think I'm going to Uber this week.
I mean, when the Titans were in Cleveland last time, I know I stayed like a 2-block walk away. I mean, there's a lot of hotels.
No, I love staying downtown Cleveland. And I've got a particular hotel that I'm particularly fond of.
So then why do you need an Uber?
For the reason I told you. No, for a car for the reason I told you. To be able to get back on a freezing cold Sunday night.
Okay, so you're not because I'm talking about 2 blocks away. You don't need an Uber. You walk.
Oh, yeah, I'm not 2 blocks away.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a little further.
All right. Did someone say 6'7"? Apparently on the YouTube chat, there's a lot of 6'7".
6'7". 6'7".
Oh, I'm sorry I did that. All right, let's get back into
apparently 41. There's a rumor that 41 is coming out strong. Jim Wyatt, whose daughter is a teacher and whose wife is a teacher. Okay. And I don't know if they're setting him up, but they told him that 40 to look out for 41.
41
could be the new thing.
Okay, well, 6'7" is it? What's the 41?
I don't know the hand. He didn't know the hand gesture. He was not completely informed. He was just getting us ahead of the curve to look out for 41.
Is it 41 or 41?
41, it sounded like.
Okay. If that happens,
you heard it here first, and Wyatt is really ahead of the curve.
We got the scoop if that happens. Wow.
Look out for 41.
I don't think we need any more of these. We really don't need any more of this. We really don't.
No, I think we're living in a world where 2 digits are always going to be a thing.
Is that right?
It's a matter of which 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah. That's just wonderful.
Your daughter should be in on this. Go home and ask her about 41.
I will. I'll ask her about 41.
Text her during the next break about 41.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can get down to the bottom of this.
I'll text Simon too.
There we go. Okay. So on the leadership thing, PK, who else moving forward for the Tennessee Titans? And we both, I think we agree, you have to be at least a good player. You can be a leader on a team as a good player. You don't have to be a star. You don't have to be one of the top 3 or 4 stars. I don't think it helps, but there are some people who are, I mean, there's teams have had like fullbacks or whatever, who they just have that natural leadership ability. Moving forward, though, leadership is important. I mean, like the culture is most dictated by, do you have good players and do you win? Do you have good people that can win football games so people aren't pissed all the time? Oh, all of a sudden the culture is way better. But you got to have leadership. So beyond Simmons, and like you said, Hooker is a guy, but he's quiet, right? That's not really, that's not really. Who do you see maybe among some of these young guys who we know are going to be around at least 2-3 years who might have that to them?
Well, again, not great positionally, but Skoronski is definitely leadership material. I think he speaks well to every issue, and he's a good to very good player now. That can get obscured because the guy next to him's not doing very well on either side. I thought Levin played rather well, but Cushenberry's not playing well, and Dan Moore is what Dan Moore is. But I think Peter Skoronski is what you want as a guy who can speak smartly to every issue and plays at a high level.
Is he a guy though who will, like hold people accountable kind of guy?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, he said the day after the first time we talked to them after Callahan was let go, he said, "Yeah, it was time for a change." That's a big statement for a guy to make. And he and Chig both said it. I think Chig's a little flaky, and he just doesn't have a big enough role to be one of those guys, and his future is in doubt. I mean, I think Skoronski's here. He's a building block guy, whatever you say about them having spent the pick on the guard. But look, it's thin. Cedric Gray has the potential to be a guy like that. Still early, right?
Okay.
Still early. But I think
and that's a position that you see that
you
a
like
lot.
that.
Wesley Woodyard was I think a leader here.
But Cody Barton to me is kind of a bust at that because he's not a good player. And Cody Barton, I think, has been under highlighted as a bad move by Mike Borgonzi. Cody Barton is not that much cheaper than Ernest Jones. And they shipped out Ernest Jones because they said Ernest Jones is going to be too expensive. And then I don't know who they were bidding against for Cody Barton, who was kind of a journeyman, like he's a okay inside linebacker who could bring us some energy and some pizzazz. But, hey, when it's time for the next contract, we're going to let him walk. And he moved around to 3 teams like that. And then the Titans say, oh, we're going to pay this guy. And he's going to be a foundational guy for us. And he's just not that good.
You got DK, what about a guy like that? I mean, again, we're talking rookies.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are emerging personalities. So, I mean, he can lead through performance. Winston, I think, has a ways to go. I think Winston's being overrated right now. I think he's
as a player.
Yeah, good in the box. He's had some coverage issues. Denard, spoke reasonably of him. Yeah, he's making mistakes. He's not going to make those mistakes a second time, but he's being asked to play nickel. Playing nickel coverage-wise is different than playing safety coverage-wise. You're tracking the guy longer and all of that. I've got grace for him, but, like I disagree with my film guy who's saying he's, third or fourth best player on the team. I don't see that. I think that's projecting a little bit.
Wow.
I think there's
this
reason
is
to be
Drew saying this.
I think there's optimism for him, but I think he's made some plays. But I don't think he's steady enough to rank that high yet.
Yeah, that's pretty early. I got a couple things. So someone on the text line says 4-1's already old in my household. So apparently it's not like total BS. So that's good. Boy, I'm actually really interested to ask the high school sophomore here about this. Joey from Bellevue wants me to ask you about the Chelsea result yesterday. Is good or bad?
Listen, they come off a good result Sunday where they're down to 10 men. And they draw with Arsenal, who's at the top of the table. And then they get slammed by a not good team on Wednesday. They're just too inconsistent. I didn't see it. I just read about it, but very disappointing.
Okay. Well, I guess Joey from Bellevue is not a Chelsea fan then. All right. We've got a call here. Ron wants to talk about Bud Adams in the Hall of Fame. Ron, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Great.
Good.
So, PK, what's your take on this Bud Adams business? I mean, the fact that Robert Kraft gets in with all of his personal scandals, and I mean, it's embarrassing to the league. And, I know Bud was a polarizing figure in his life. Is the man just not ever going to get in?
Probably not. But Kraft is not in. Kraft is a finalist now.
Excuse me. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
So
He's a
Robert
finalist.
Kraft got the contributor finalist. Bill Belichick gets the coach finalist. L.C. Greenwood, Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, the 3 senior finalists. Up to 3 of those guys could get in if they got 80%. You can vote for 3 of them. I don't think Kraft's got a chance. I don't think the way it's set up now, I don't think we'll ever vote for a contributor over senior players or a coach. And I think Belichick's obviously an automatic. I don't understand the Ken Anderson case, really. Completed a lot of passes, but he was never like the best quarterback of his generation or even at the top. But there's a big push for him from senior committee people. But Bud Adams is not getting in for whatever reason. His eccentricities.
Well, I guess I just go back and look at it this way. Hal Davis is in, right?
Yeah.
Hunt's in. Ralph Wilson's in. Bud Adams was the 4th part of getting the AFL off the ground.
He had insufficient
How do you not put him in?
insufficient PR back at the time. And now I think if he's going to get in, it's going to be a whole nother generation of voters hearing his story for the first time. That's his chance.
Thank you, Ron.
Who's going to tell his story?
Yeah, somebody good.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. No, it's a good. We can get in that a little bit too if you want. But I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, he has a compelling case. Doesn't have enough momentum
traction
for it. So when we come back, we could stay on the Titans. We also we at some point we need to talk about Penn State and the worst recruiting class in all of America. Penn State. How about
that? And a controversial story that the Athletic did about the Penn State Open.
Okay, Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Paul Kaharski in for Robby. And all right, we're going to talk about Penn State here since you have to cry about stuff that is dumb, but that's fine. I'll let you have your say, and then I'll dunk on you
All right,
so that everybody can understand what really happened. But let's review quickly here. Penn State fired James Franklin in October, got ahead of the curve. You know, they've had a long time to
did him.
Yeah, they've had a long time to kind of look around, and, you know, immediately the immediate thought, and I think the immediate outreach was Curt Cignetti at Indiana, a Yinzer, that Curt Cignetti, and immediately Indiana locked him up with a big raise, and nope, I'm staying at Indiana. Matt Rule at Nebraska, who I don't know if Nebraska fans are excited about this, but, you know, he played linebacker for Joe Paterno at Penn State, as a walk-on there, has done good things at previous stops. Nebraska locks him up, and then proceeds to look really bad late in the season. They did lose their quarterback. A lot of other possibilities out there have come and gone. You know, you got Jeff Brom and all these people who – Kalani Sitake clearly was the focus recently. He decided to re-up with BYU. So in the meantime, Pat Kraft, the AD, continues – I mean, this coaching search is not unlike, to me, the Tennessee coaching search of 2017. Now, there's no Shiano Sunday as part of this, coaching search, but like it's amazing the swings and misses that a job like Penn State could have. So you got the crumble cookie. Did you see the crumble cookie thing?
No.
This is where college football is amazing. So the Sitake thing apparently turns into a bidding war, and including BYU alum who is, I don't know if he's CEO, Crumble Cookie or whatever.
It's like based out of Utah or something.
Yeah, so he gets in it, and it's like, no, we're not losing Kalani. Goes big, right? So yesterday at the Virginia Tech signing day, James Franklin, hired by Virginia Tech. I'm very excited as a Hokies fan. At the signing day event for Virginia Tech, they have a bunch of boxes of crumble cookies there. It's there's no way that that's a coincidence that James Franklin's throwing the crumble cookies on there to throw a little shade at Penn State. That's a beautiful thing. But anyway, Penn State is sitting here right now. I mean, their recruiting class, by at least one service, 136 of 136. Okay, like
got 2 players, right?
Well, they did get a quarterback who flipped. I forget from who, a 4-star quarterback to play. Just I'll play for somebody at Penn State. Let's go. But like they have allowed this recruiting class, and look, I understand there's the portal and there's all that stuff, and you can make things up like you couldn't before. But a completely empty, dead recruiting cycle, that's not good. That is not good. Like there's still every class. You look at any team out in college football, there's a few guys from every class who matter to the team, even with the portal, even with all that stuff. It's quite a disaster at Penn State.
Well, a couple things. Penn State strikes me as similar to Tennessee, like with the unrealistic view of itself.
Okay.
Like it lives in its glory days and thinks it's better than it is. Now, I know Tennessee went to the playoffs last year, but Tennessee fans view Tennessee to be what it was in its glory days as opposed to what it is now, which is a team that appears, 15th in the poll sometimes.
I mean, they've been in the top 5 in the last few years, but okay, keep going.
But then
keep digging.
I'm a subscriber to The Athletic, a site that I admire very much. But
Great.
we just talked about Chelsea. I mean, I read 6 stories about Chelsea last night in The Athletic.
6? We had 6?
I mean, the coverage is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I understand absolutely everything that's going on
amazing.
with Chelsea. But I read this story, Penn State Emergency Coaching Search Committee, 6 solutions for the Nittany Lions. Somehow you get the top byline on 5 bylines on this, and it's crap.
Put that in your face. Put that in your pipe.
Did you know Joe writes for The Athletic?
Yeah, well, he never mentions it. He talks about this the poll that he's involved in. It sounds like it's a 1025, the game poll. He never mentions The Athletic. You should play that more often because I think a lot of people think that he's, with Chase and Joe on a poll in the office.
Yep.
instead of-
Yet another shameless plug from Joe Rexrode.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
I haven't heard this often enough. But these are the candidates that this emergency poll yesterday puts together.
Which we did yesterday morning, by the way.
Yeah. Kalen DeBoer. Yeah. I'm sorry that nothing written here is convincing to me that he would leave Alabama. So if there's a realistic chance that he's leaving Alabama for Penn State, whoever wrote that section did a poor job, because I'm not convinced by this at all, that there's a realistic chance the guy's leaving Alabama for Penn State. Let me do the whole thing.
Okay.
Jeff Brom, and then there's immediately a thing under it that, Brom has reaffirmed that he's staying at Louisville.
Yes, after the story came out.
Okay,
Yes.
well, then
Okay.
give me another guy after that.
Okay.
So now we've got 2 out of 6 that are not possibilities. Then one genius, the guy who has the top line, and it gives me Bob Chesney, who's the coach at UCLA already.
You're
So
not
far-
going to let me tell you why you're being an idiot?
After I finish.
Okay.
So far, I've got 3 coaches that I think have zero possibility of being the coach at Penn State. This is an informative article. I'm
It
reading
is.
about 3 guys who can't come.
I'd like to help you right now, but
Then I've
yelling.
got Monken. I like that. That's a good realistic possibility. So far, it reads like an article that should have been about Monken as the potential
Monken?
head coach.
Monken? Who are you talking about?
Then Campbell. Seems like a reasonable candidate, but if it was going to happen, it seems like it should have happened already. Terry Smith, the interim, I guess you automatically mention the interim in every circumstance, except the Tennessee Titans, where the interim should never be mentioned. This article is half about guys who are not going to have the job. A crap article. Go ahead, defend yourself.
Well, I'll defend my choice, which is Bob Chesney. For people who don't know, Bob Chesney and Penn State, we're talking. Basically, Penn State looked at Bob Chesney as he's the James Madison coach, by the way, who's had tremendous success at a lot of different levels. We know what's been happening with James Madison coaches lately. Curt Cignetti goes to Indiana. By the way, Vanderbilt basketball, pretty happy with their James Madison coaching hire. But Bob Chesney is basically was Penn State's safety. He was their backup. And they're flirting with Kalani Sitake. They think they're going to get Kalani Sitake. Bob's like, UCLA comes after Chesney. Okay.
That's a shot that Sitake, by the way, was not mentioned in this article.
Yeah, he's mentioned in the lead.
No, it's surprising that nobody put him down as a prime candidate
All right.
for the Penn
Do you
State
want me to give you facts, or do you want to
go ahead.
scream at a cloud? Okay. Well, Bob Chesney goes out to UCLA, and we're still waiting on that contract to be signed. We're still waiting on what are the details. Is it official? If you're Bob Chesney and you all of a sudden see, oh, Sitake fell through, it's a pride thing a little bit, right? It's like, well, they kind of dissed me, and I was just their backup. I committed to UCLA. I haven't signed with UCLA. I could take the Penn State job potentially. Again, I'm suggesting that Penn State says, Bob, come on, which happens sometimes in coaching searches. And if he truly hasn't signed, and even if he has, you could pay UCLA there's some talk out there that it wouldn't be that much to get Bob Chesney. So you're wrong. It's absolutely a viable candidate. And I tell you what, man, you can rip on the Kalen DeBoer thing all you want. Kalen DeBoer, everything's fine. They got it together this year. He has seen what it is to replace Nick Saban in Alabama. Do not just dismiss the idea that a very good job could be appealing to him and take him out of Tuscaloosa. So there's 2. What's the other one you cried about? Matt Campbell. Okay, so Matt Campbell's at Iowa State. Brom reaffirmed. When that was written, Brom was the focus of their search. Okay, after it's written, Brom said, okay, I'm staying at Louisville. So you basically have nothing to cry about, but you cried. Good job.
For DeBoer. I mean, is Penn State a good job?
Is Penn State as good a job as Alabama? No. If you kind of realize that, like, if you aren't winning a title every other year, these people are going to be furious with you. And also, like, you're from, like, South Dakota and you're in Tuscaloosa and you're like, good God, what is going on here? Penn State isn't a terrible parachute, man. I mean, I hear what you're saying about Penn State and Tennessee. I mean, Penn State's last national title was 1986. So, I mean, Tennessee's was 1998. So, it's even a longer. But Penn State's also had a lot of teams in that time between then and now that were contenders. I mean, it's a very good job. It's a top 10 job, right? Penn State, clearly a top 10 job in America, I would say. 10, 12. I guess you'd have to go through them because there's a lot of.
Does the conference realignment shift all that kind of stuff? You know, it used to be Big Ten. You only had Ohio State and Michigan to kind of compete with. Now you throw in Oregon, USC, it makes it tougher.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, again, with these conferences are so big, I mean, you might not play some of those teams for 3 years in a row. You know,
That's true.
But I
With
mean,
the
the
unbalanced
bottom
scheduling.
line is the support for that program there, and they've gotten the NIL figured out. Although then James Franklin got it figured out and then got fired. And the resources of the Big Ten and all that. It's I
Are
mean,
you ever winning the conference?
now I don't want to live in State College, Pennsylvania. For anybody who's ever been there, I've been there many times. You know, that's not a draw, but you know,
It just feels like if you're Penn State and you're going to fire Franklin, you should have something
plan.
lined up, right?
yes, they've completely botched this to high levels. As Koharski just botched his criticism
If Bill O'Brien had
Yeah,
had a better second year at BC, he went it's 7-6 first year, then huge step back this year. Would they win 2 games, 2-10? If he had gone 7-6 again, if he had had 2 7-6 years at BC, in play there.
I don't know. It's interesting because obviously he was there earlier. He did a really good job.
I mean, he
after
dug them
all
out
the
of
stuff,
hell.
after all the Jerry Sandusky stuff going on. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, you don't see it a ton, and usually when it happens, it's like Johnny Majors went back to Pittsburgh in the '90s, you know, and it's like, just the.
Johnny Majors was an old man at that time.
Yeah, but I mean, in 1993 or whatever, yeah. Was he that much older then than Bill O'Brien is now? Regardless, that second thing, I don't know. For whatever reason, it seems like it just doesn't work out. But yeah, maybe.
Left on good terms.
Yeah.
Seems to me.
All right. Well, we can talk more about this, but when we come back, best and worst in sports, Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game.
The best and worst of the sports week. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is the worst.
You look like you're feeling sorry for yourself.
He's one of one. He is him.
This is a Coke bottle. It's not a crystal ball.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Okay, let's go.
It is that time of week again, best and worst in sports, and they let me go first all the time, which is great. Makes it very easy for me. And this week is very easy for me. I kind of said it at the top of the show, guys, but I'm going to say it again. My best in sports is Vanderbilt, period. You're talking about a football team that just went into Knoxville and just laid waste to rival Tennessee, 45-24. You're talking about a quarterback who right now has become the Vegas favorite to win the Heisman. This weekend will be critical in that, and Fernando Mendoza's performance and success against Ohio State, that might win it for him. But it's going to be – Pavia is going to be in New York, and I don't think he finishes worse than second in the Heisman. I could be wrong. Maybe Jeremiah Love rises up, but I think he's got a real chance to win this thing. You have ranked basketball teams with Michaela Blake's getting 1,000 points a month into her sophomore season. That's like a good career number for a college basketball player. And the Vanderbilt men's basketball team might be as good as any team in the SEC. Oh, and by the way, Tim Corbin's coaching your baseball team. So right now it is the glory days. Oh, I forgot Jared Curtis flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt, greatest recruit in school history. Like, this is the glory days if you're a Vanderbilt sports fan. So don't miss that if you're a Vanderbilt sports fan. You should be enjoying the heck out of this, even though my worst in sports is the College Football Playoff Committee. Look, Vanderbilt's not a slam dunk, but they certainly deserve more regard than they got. They should be a lot closer than they got. I mean, if eyeball test is going to prop up Notre Dame, and I get it. I watch Notre Dame and I think, yeah, they're pretty good. But if that's going to be your guide, Vanderbilt should be right there too. And by the metrics, Vanderbilt's better than Notre Dame. Their metrics, their straight up resume is better than Notre Dame. And they just got screwed over. They never moved up. They sit there at 14. And I asked Hunter Yurachek the other night, so tell me how Vanderbilt blows out Tennessee in a road game. You just gave credit to Alabama for a tough road game against a rival on the road. Gutty fourth down call. This is some of the stuff he's saying why Alabama moved up. A gutty fourth down call and all this stuff. And so tell me how then Vanderbilt doesn't move up when they blow out their rival on the road, but the rival falls out of the poll. So you can't even give them credit for a top 25. But he had no answer. He said some blah, blah, blah and moved on. It's a joke. The College Football Playoff Committee, the whole thing of the weekly rankings and the explanations are bad. This year has hit a new low. Like the explanations, especially with Yurachek taking over for Mac Rhodes, it's like you got to work on that. It's bad. That is my worst, the College Football Playoff Committee. PK.
Your sport.
That's
Let me
true.
go last. Man, you go.
Okay, sure. I will
you
go. My best, I put Pavia on there just as a kind of a piggyback. It's been so fun to watch the season and how he runs the offense. Feels like he could scramble almost every play, and yet he has this great ability of finding the leak out, kind of whether it's the receiver or a running back out of the backfield or the tight end. I don't know if that's like a design offense or just the way they have it rolling. It's just fun. Also, Joe put this in the chat. How about this 4-star wide receiver for Virginia Tech, Fat Rat Brown?
Oh my God.
How about that as a new fun
No,
name
my
for
brother
college
sent
football?
me this. It is the greatest name. It's the new greatest name in sports.
Fat Rat Brown.
Is that birth certificate?
No, my brother said he said he has a regular name. But,
Same
but
with the-
he's going by Fat Rat, and my God, that's amazing.
Same with the kid from SMU last night. I can't remember.
Boopy.
Boopy.
Do
There
we
you
have a
go.
weight on Fat Rat?
Yeah, it was normal.
Normal weight?
Yeah, it was. He was like 200. He's a
He's a
good size
receiver.
wide receiver.
He's a receiver.
Looked
Yeah.
like some good numbers for wide receiver.
Maybe he
Nothing
was
crazy.
chunky as a kid. I don't know.
I don't know. If I was a receiver with the chance at getting somewhere, I wouldn't want. It's like lazy for a panda, like Isaiah Wilson. I wouldn't
yeah.
want like any hint of I hear fat rat, and I go, oh, I'm not interested in that guy. He's fat.
I don't know, man. I think
I'm not interested in lazy. That turns me off.
I think fat rat, and then you're running a 4.4, and people are like, wow, he overcame being a fat rat.
Maybe it could be a story of overcoming your name.
That's right.
Yeah, I overcame my nickname that I gave myself.
There you go. Quick. Also, I know this is a lot of Ozzy Weisblatt. First goal pointed to the sky to his late brother.
Yep.
Just a nice touch.
That's a very good one.
Worst, I also put the college football playoff committee. It's just been an absolute sham. They have just determined who they want to be in the playoff and change the argument from there. There's no real rationale other than this is who we want. We're not really sure why, or we're not going to tell you the real reasons why.
Or they just think they're better. That's what.
Or they think they are going to get the most eyeballs. Like it just is. The way they've handled this is not getting rid of that narrative that they care about TV ratings more than anything else.
Just understand, okay, that last year SMU and Indiana got in, and Alabama. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
But that's because of the way the format is, that they were like forced to pick those players.
No, they weren't. Absolutely.
They're
not.
getting eyeballs.
Oh, no. Everybody thought Alabama was going to get in for what you just said. So I'm not. They deserve criticism. The idea that the people in that committee room, these former coaches and stuff, care about like the rate, like, that's not.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're just not doing a good job of destroying that narrative based on the way this whole situation's going. So they've completely butchered that. Also,
all right, so you're going on and on. I got no time.
I know. You'll have time. It's okay. Giants kicker Young Wei Koo hitting the ground on that field goal. There you go.
He stopped. Yeah. At least he said he intentionally stopped.
It was just hilarious.
It wasn't a gaffe. But boy,
it was funny.
Look horrible. The best. NBC is loaning Rebecca Lowe to Fox for World Cup coverage. Rebecca Lowe is the single best presenter, as they say in England, on the TV in America. Opposite of Carissa Thompson, who thinks like she is the best thing going. Rebecca Lowe, just modest, just gets the job done. Tremendous and great that she's going to be on World Cup stuff. Worst. Milan for the Olympics, way behind with their ice rink, which is going to be same width as an NHL rink and shorter. I know you guys love hockey. The problem with hockey is there's no space. It used to be in 2014 and 2018 that they used the international rink, which made it tremendous hockey because there was actual space. In Beijing, they used the smaller NHL size rink. Sucks. In Milan, they're using an NHL size width, and it's going to be actually shorter.
That is ridiculous.
How is this allowed to happen? Where is the oversight on this? Ice is not finished. It's the test run is going to be late. The women are going to be like flying by the seat of their pants. It's a crime. The reason the Olympic hockey is good is because there's actually space. Sports with space are good. Sports with no space are bad. That's why hockey is not that good. There's no room for anything to happen. And they decide for the Olympics, hey, let's take away some room.
You've had some tremendous lunatic raving so far today, but I like it. I like that worse in sports. We come back. We are going to talk. We're going to talk Titans coaching search. You guys had a lot of good best and worst. I'll get to those too. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Second hour here, Robby Rexrode Thursday edition. Paul Kaharski in for Robbie Stanley's under the weather. Ian Safar producing. I'm Joe Rexrode. We are in the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Also like to let you know that this holiday season, 102.5 The Game is looking out for the kiddos. We want to donate a bunch of stuffed toys to the Nashville Children's Alliance to be given to kids this holiday, but we can't do it without you. So join us at a Dunkin' location near your neighborhood the week of December 8th through the 12th, that would be next week, to drop off a stuffed toy that a child will love. Find the Dunkin' locations that are participating at theGameNashville.com/toy. We'd also like to thank the Metro Nashville Police Department, the Catalano Group, the Bluemont Group, Family Leisure, Thompson Machinery, and Reladine. And PK, we're going to get into the Titans coaching search. I think it's time for a reset. I need to get your thoughts. We had a little Albert Breer little contribution to the conversation this week. I want to get your thoughts on that too. So I don't think we hit that yesterday. We didn't hit the Albert Breer stuff yesterday, did we? No.
We didn't.
Okay. But I do want to quickly, the best and worst, people always contribute, and sometimes we don't get to them. So I want to hit a few quickly. Jeff from Nebraska, the worst thing in sports, the amount of money being paid out to college coaches who get fired. 15 fired coaches, $228 million in buyouts. That's a record by almost $100 million. Not sustainable. That's a very good worst in sports. It
is sustainable. Though. It is sustainable. Like, what are these new contracts? Do the new contracts going to the guys who are replacing these jobs have smaller buyouts? I mean, have we heard Lane Kiffin's buyout at LSU? I imagine it's enormous.
Yeah. So you're right to a point, but there is. So the thing is, it's like, I mean, the ADs have to fight back, right? I mean, like the agents. I mean, everybody talks about Jimmy Sexton. He's not the only agent who represents coaches. The ADs have been getting schooled for a long time. So I will tell you. So Pat Fitzgerald got the Michigan State job. I think he's like getting $4 million, and it goes up like $4 million a year, which is very low now for a job, and it's heavily incentivized.
He's also second chance guy.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just saying that's at least an example of attempting to curb it a little bit with more incentive.
Good.
Hey, I'm for, let's just make it $1 million a win, man. $1 million a win. Okay.
That's
so you go
good way to start.
Now you go 8-4, and it's like, boy, did you really earn $8 million? But,
well, even $8 million is nothing compared to.
It's not insane. Yeah.
How do you feel about Fitzgerald?
I mean, 13 is the top right now. Lane and Kirby now but no, I mean, they need to do something about it. How do I feel about
Fitzgerald as your school's new head coach?
Well, first of all, I separate my schools. I don't, whatever, man. You're on a beat. You know how it is.
No, but now you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an alumni with an interest.
Sure. For Michigan State, I think I actually predicted it in the Athletic 6 weeks ago, by the way. No, I think it's worth a shot. It's pretty good. He did pretty well. I understand all that happened with the
exonerated.
hazing.
I mean, we believe in the exoneration.
Yeah. I mean, well, listen, I mean, you're still in charge.
Right.
And you still
Buck
failed.
Stops with you.
You failed. Yeah. And he paid for it. But then he also got a big settlement because he sued them. And so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's indicated any direct link to, like, unlike DJ Durkin, for example, and the stuff that happened with him. So, yes.
Maybe a less honorable guy than we thought, but a good football coach, stepping into a different kind of school, certainly, major, big public school, as opposed to a private place where he had maybe a different kind of seat of power. It's going to be interesting, though. I'm very curious to see how he does.
Me
and
too.
I mean, I liked him a great deal before things went the way they went at Northwestern. So I'm kind of pulling for him.
I know him some, not great, but the people I know who I know some people who went to school with him were in media. And I mean, it's across the board. Like he's a very
well liked,
very well like one of the good guys. And I still buy that. But then it's still about winning and losing. And it's about resources. So I don't know. Is he going to get the resources? Yes, he doesn't have the restrictions yet at Northwestern, but are they going to give him what he needs to compete with Michigan and Ohio State and Penn? I don't know. They say they've got a $4 billion campaign going on that Magic Johnson's leading. So we'll see.
How's the vibe on campus from your on-site people?
It seems like older people are very excited. Well, my kid he's going to hope it works. You know what I mean?
Well,
it seems like younger people are more down on this and wanted go get the Chesney guy from James Madison or something and older people are into it. So it'll be interesting. Real quick, other best and worst. Best, Kevin Durant and the Rockets look like a contender. I had some good ones, and now
now you're flailing.
Now I'm flailing badly.
How's it going with you and this Apple computer? Give us an update.
It's actually it's good.
You like it, don't you?
Yeah,
I
pretty
told
good.
you if you gave it some time.
Yeah, no,
Fast,
it's good.
Efficient.
Now I need
intuitive.
to get so I can do Zoom on it.
Is your pointer still giant that I set for you?
It is still giant, but it's fine. I'm used to it now. It's fine. It'll be good.
He's got a grandma-sized pointer. My mom's pointer is smaller than that. She's 90.
Texture says, "What are the ADs going to do, Joe?" I just told you. I mean, you have to do contracts that are more incentivized, and you have to negotiate better.
We could be like LSU and give. Aren't they giving Kiffin money for every win that Ole Miss has in the college football playoff?
Yeah, he's getting $1 million if they win the college football playoff.
They are paying his
That's
bonuses.
crazy.
Yeah, they're paying his bonuses. Yes,
the governor's like, hey, we got to stop paying all this money for the coaches. And
we are not going to give out a contract like that. I tell you,
Toddy.
And now
we
they
are
give him
all Ole Miss fans this year. I say now.
Lane, you must hire a defensive coordinator, but call him a coordinator of war.
That's a great line.
Yeah,
Whoever
thank you.
Wrote that? Did you write that?
I did write that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're a good writer on the occasions they let you write. I mean, how many times you write a week?
Sometimes many times.
Many times.
Sometimes
that's a finite number. He's really giving us data.
Well, sometimes you're
Hard
working.
data.
Well, if you're working on a bigger story, then you get some time to do it. But if not, I'll write like 5 times this week.
Really?
Yes.
I read the thing religiously, and I see 6 Chelsea stories a day.
I wrote about the playoff committee. I'm writing about Kentucky basketball Friday. By the way, Gunner says his best is Will Stein to Kentucky. That's an interesting one. Will Stein to Kentucky is very interesting.
It's a Kentucky job. I mean, it's the best you can do there.
Well, I mean, Mark Stoops won 10 games twice there.
Yeah. I mean, what's the best you could do there in terms of a hire is what I mean.
Yeah, they wanted John Summerall, and if things would have worked out differently, and then they thought they were getting John Summerall when they thought that Mark Stoops was leaving for Texas A&M, and then Texas A&M said, actually, no, we don't want you, and so he went back. So John Summerall, who is the Florida's coach, who played at Kentucky, was kind of their dream replacement. Will Stein, I mean, look, yeah, he's a coordinator, he's a very successful coordinator at a high-level program, but that was what Dan Lanning was when he went to Oregon. That's what Kirby Smart was when he went to Georgia, right? I mean, the coordinator thing can work if you hire the right one, and then sometimes you can hire Jeremy Pruitt, who was also a successful coordinator at a high-level program and won a national championship.
Insufficiently held against Fulmer, I think.
Oh, not held against him enough? Yeah, well, probably. I mean, he on his way out, Vols fans.
Pitiful hire.
The weirdest press conference I've ever attended.
Guy wearing a babushka.
Was still the press conference where in the middle of that bleep show coaching search, they brought in Phil Fulmer and people thought it was like this amazing day for Tennessee. I'm like, this place is screwed. But they have come out of that wilderness, so good for them. All right, we were going to talk about the Titans coach search. We'll touch on it here quickly, and we'll get into it more. So first of all, have you changed, PK, on where you are? I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but time goes on, things evolve. Like right now, you're number one, because I'm telling you, and I'm not saying the Titans are getting him, that I'd be shocked if they did. But I'm starting to really wonder if Mike Tomlin's going to be on the market. I'm starting to really wonder.
It would really be a sea change for the Roonies. But, it has been, 19 years or whatever? There's a Penn State candidate. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's pushing him for Penn State. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger and James Harrison both came out and said it's time, which is really remarkable.
So they're saying it's time for him to be fired, or it's time for him to move on?
It's time for a mutual.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Mutual,
right?
Cordial decision. But Roethlisberger gave him the parachute of saying, boy, he'd be great at Penn State. The guy could recruit like crazy. It'd be a wonderful thing, which, that'd be a hell of a box thing.
Penn State fans would be like, right? They'd be over the moon, right?
I would think. I mean, the guy's got a certain cachet, and he could sit in living
I
rooms.
think he'd be great
and
with 18 to 22-year-old too. I
Yeah.
mean, he's good in general, but I think that could be great.
Look, he's a good coach, but he's lost his ability to get them to a certain level.
Yeah, they haven't had a quarterback, so
Yeah.
that's the defense of
And
him.
the
But maybe it's
Steelers-
just time to move on.
The Steelers' quote unquote success has kind of hurt them. That's a team that's been consistently okay, which has kept them from getting high enough in the draft to get the difference making kind of player that it needs to get to a place where it could win playoff games. And I understand the city's frustration because the standard, he says the standard is the standard. The standard's gone way down. Standard is, have a winning record, get in the playoffs, don't do anything. And look, would a lot of cities kill for that? Yeah, but in Pittsburgh, they expect more. And
They got a lot of
reasonably
championships.
Reasonably so.
So if he comes out at least, then the domino effect of you may have access to somebody you weren't going to, right?
Yeah.
In the whole cycle. I don't think the Titans would get, who knows? But to me, he's immediately getting, I think, his choice.
Yeah,
right?
I would think so too. And I mean, look, if he comes, I don't believe he's coming free, but if he comes free, if Stefanski comes free, if LaFleur comes free, I mean, imagine those three guys come free. That would be the best single off season of available coaches in memory. I mean, I don't think there are that many jobs coming open. And the jobs that are coming open are Arizona, which is not a great job. The Giants, which, is a good job. But do you want New York is always the question. Some guys are desperate for that limelight, but other guys are like, hell, I could go a place like Tennessee where the press corps is, a quarter of the size.
Got the same salary cap.
So I think the Titans are going to wind up with somebody good. And we're not even talking about Saleh, and some other pretty good second chance coaches or the young up and comers or all of that. I think the Titans probably do better than we think.
Okay, we'll get more into specifically what they should do next. Robby and Rex are 102.5 The Game. DVD. That's Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. Actually, it's Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, Willie Donick. That's DVD. We'll be broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday prior to the Monday Night Football game. Monday night's matchup, Eagles-Chargers. The Harbster trying to keep things going there. We got Cowboys-Lions tonight, PK.
That's a big game.
That's
8-9.
Elimination game.
Bidding for 7. It's the show that precedes us, the ESPN show, was talking about that. Like, that's as good a game as you could get of teams outside of the playoff race for as many duds as you can land in prime time.
Yeah.
Or if I told you, hey, Thursday night football with 5 weeks left, 2 non-playoff teams, you'd go, oh.
Right.
But this one,
it's good.
And some offensive possibility. Dallas is playing great. You got to give him credit.
No doubt. I mean, Dak actually, you look at what he's doing and also who they've done against us. I mean, like, if they go on a run and, get in the playoffs and win a lot here down the stretch and he's playing like that, I mean, he could be a late addition to at least the discussion on MVP.
And what were the odds?
Really well.
They trade for George Pickens, who's a basket case. When they make that move, you go, oh, you're taking a basket case out of a controlled place and putting him in crazy Dallas. That's not going to go well. And they're getting massive production out of him.
I mean, the
He's
talent.
playing great. Somebody's going to give him big money this offseason. He's going to go back to what he was in Pittsburgh.
So, Joe, who are you going to start in fantasy? Dak or Lamar?
It's funny you say that. I just switched. I went to Dak.
What's Lamar's health? Lamar week to week is so –
well, he's killed me.
Bad.
He's my quarterback in both my teams. He's killed me. It's absolutely killed me. I guess I might still make the playoff in our league. I crushed you at least, PK. That felt good. But I lost to Brennan. Oh, that's terrible. Whose team name is like, I'm disgusting at this, whatever the hell. Yeah. 4-1. 4-1, Brennan, whatever that means. Pickens is
41. I don't think it's 4.
Okay, it's 4. It's got to be 41.
6-7,
41.
41.
Okay, all right. So the coaching situation. Ricky on the text line says Robert Saleh is a guy the Titans need. Aaron Rodgers screwed that guy. Great defensive coach. Giants will be getting Tomlin. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Will Tomlin be free? We don't know. I mean, there was talk earlier this year. Well, I don't think at all that this is going to happen. And I still think they're going to win the division. But what if Baltimore totally craps out? John Harbaugh has been great there. I think sometimes with Tomlin, like guys like Tomlin and Harbaugh, there is a like, okay, you know what? Maybe both sides could just use a fresh start. It'd be utterly shocking if both of them were available. I still think with Harbaugh, it's very, very minute. But I'm just saying.
They've underachieved. You hear things about Lamar and the allowances made for Lamar. I think, how can an MVP, I think once you hit the MVP level, there's a level that you have to play to, and he's just not anywhere near it. Now, I know he's had nagging injuries and everything, but he looked fine.
Well, early this year, he was incredible.
Yeah, and this last game he played, he was horrific.
Yeah, he's got to be banged up, right? He has to be.
Yeah.
Like, he has to be very limited because he was playing at, like, MVP Lamar level this year early in the season, and they were screwing it up still in some of those games. Derrick Henry fumbling, stuff like the defense. But now he looks like a shell of himself.
They're really blowing a chance.
Yeah,
like everybody in the air, Bills too, who don't have enough defensively. And maybe Kansas City does it again. But right now, it looks like
they have no pass rush.
It looks like you can go get it in the AFC.
Yeah.
And the two prime candidates to go get it in the AFC aren't well positioned to go get it. This should be the year for Buffalo or Baltimore. You bet on either one of them?
The thing is, I still think if you say, okay, you can take this pod of Baltimore, Buffalo, or you can take the Patriots and Broncos.
Yeah, I'm not betting on the Patriots Broncos.
Because those are the two. Those are going to be your top two seeds.
Yeah, I think one of them goes to the championship game and loses and has something to build on. But they're still too young and unproven. I think Drake May's capable of doing it, but I don't think the roster's good enough around it. But, I wouldn't put it past Vrabel.
Of course you wouldn't.
I think they'd lose in a Super Bowl.
In a Super Bowl.
To somebody like the Rams or whatever. I think they could get
I can't buy, Seattle. And I could be wrong because the Bengals did this with Burrow. the year that, Tannehill gave him the ball 3 times. But I just can't buy the Patriots or Broncos being a Super Bowl this year. So
I can't either.
if you believe that, then I think you have to believe that the Ravens or Bills could potentially put it together in January, right? Because it's there, like you said.
And the teams we're not mentioning, this division, battling it out. And I don't have faith in any of them either, but I think it's wide open. Houston's defense could put you in position to win some games at the end. Jaguars are not bad if they could get rolling. Colts were pretty good. They've leveled off, but they can play good football. Yeah. AFC wide open.
Yeah, very much so. So, and as we've discussed, coaching cycle could be wide open. Someone on the text line driven by WilsonCounty.com says, I don't need anybody trying to learn on the job or emulating the team they came from. We need a guy who walks in and knows WTF he's doing day one. We're a long way away. Nobody got time for learning or trying to figure out. Well, yeah, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, coordinators become head coaches all the time in this league and succeed. I mean, that happens. So, I mean, I would not just disqualify. I would not limit myself to long-term or established head coaches. Your only possibility. And Albert Breer did throw out Shula and he threw out Minter. 2 young coordinators. As again, the way it was framed was like have at least discuss them, or I mean, I guess that's one of those things where it's like, well, in that building, don't you think they've probably talked about 30 people?
Right. Yeah, he gets 2 names out of a huge list. That doesn't mean.
But sometimes when you write it, okay, then I'm like, okay, does that mean that there's a little information that's come like there? Maybe this is a little bit elevated. This is a little bit smaller list that they're still on.
Or, Minter and Shula's guys decide to play it like, hey, we're going to get their names out there so that there's a little bit more buzz about them. And the other 28 guys that they have considered that way aren't getting their names out that way. So maybe we shouldn't overweigh it. Look, if I'm a Titans fan, my biggest enthusiasm is about the potential for some of these guys to get fired. I want Cleveland to end horribly. And there's a reason to root for the Titans this week. If Kevin Stefanski loses to the Titans this weekend, that hurts his job security, and maybe he comes free. And what do you want more, the number 1 pick or Kevin Stefanski as your head coach? I would say the coach overwhelms the pick to me, and that doesn't eliminate you from contention for the pick. I would like to see the Packers do poorly the rest of the way, which could conceivably fuel this LaFleur thing. I'd like to see the Steelers continue to lose, which could fuel the Tomlin thing.
And finally, just convince Aaron Rodgers just retire. Just hang it up, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
we're getting close, aren't
done.
we?
Yeah. And I don't want to read any more off-season stuff. But even if he's done, he won't declare himself done. He might not declare himself done at all. So we'll still be reading about him in October of next year when somebody suffers a high ankle sprain. Ooh, is Rodgers coming?
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna be around? Brady's trying to be an owner and an announcer. He's bad at both. What's Rodgers gonna do to keep himself in the public eye?
I think he'll still do the McAfee show weekly and raise controversial stuff there to keep his name out. Is that sufficient for him? I mean, there is not unlimited room for former quarterbacks to be in the media, though the networks seem to think there is. I mean, Drew Brees seems to think he's good, which he's not, and somebody's giving him room. I'm not
after he had to sit down for a while.
Yeah, he's a disaster.
He wasn't good.
Is he any good now? Has anybody heard?
I have not. I mean, hopefully, maybe he's just better because in the studio is bad. Maybe he's better, at a game. Again, from a quarterback, I want break down. Tell us something we don't know from just sitting there watching that play.
At least he's given low-ranking games. I saw for Brady. Maybe 2 weeks ago, both Rich Eisen and Mina Kimes praising him in tweets. And to Rich Eisen's, I responded and I said, who would you say something negative about? Like, give me one name. And this is the circle jerk that goes on. Quite frankly, I mean, who would Rich Eisen say something negative about?
I don't know. We will ponder that
I mean,
question.
do you have to go out? Do you have to strain to say something good about Tom Brady as an announcer? Can't you just be silent on it? You're not going to say something negative, but don't say anything.
We will ponder that question and more. And I'm going to put PK on the spot on the coaching thing. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. All right, looking for a good spot to watch NFL games this Sunday? Well, come by Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree beer, and join 102.5 The Game for the pregame show for the Titans take on the Browns. Pregame show brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment at Old National Bank. I think that'll be Big Joe, D-Mace.
Some people.
Sounds right.
Some
I
important
don't
people.
know for sure, unfortunately.
Chris, D-Mace.
Usually
Big
it's
Joe?
a combination of Big Joe, Chris, and D-Mace. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Before the big one, the Titans and the Browns, when a lot of people will be focused on Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, but PK will be focused on, can the Titans get Kevin Stefanski to be their head coach? So who is your number one? Who is your number
that
one?
a lot, and I like the Myles Garrett storyline. I think
Now there's that
Cam
too.
actually goes against Myles Garrett.
Might have some snow
He
in this
does
game.
not go
That could
against
be fun to
Shedeur
watch.
Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, also focused on what I'm packing for this trip.
Bundle
in
up.
terms
Is it
of
going to be
layers.
brutally cold this
I
weekend?
think we saw 21.
Okay.
But,
well,
21 in Cleveland is like
oh, the winds,
-5.
the Lake Erie winds, baby. Oof.
Now, I think if I had my choice of coach, like with reasonable firings in play, that Kevin Stefanski would be my top choice. I just think he's a good offensive mind who has done good work in horrific circumstances. And I mean, these are less horrific circumstances, if you can believe that. I know Titans fans don't think there's anything worse, but if you look at the last 5 years of the Browns and quarterback situation and the Deshaun Watson stuff
and history
and coach not coaching a playoff game because he had COVID and was in the basement of his house and everything, and ownership there is meddling idiocy beyond what it is here. I think the guy's a composed, smart guy. So he would be number one for me.
Okay.
I think
I think it'd be a good hire.
I think the Saleh with paired probably with Mike McDaniel or Mike LaFleur as his offensive coordinator, that's appealing to me as well. I think Saleh is the kind of
I think he's attainable too.
Yeah,
and I think have to be somewhat realistic.
I do think that he would like it here. I've heard rumblings only Miami might be more appealing to him than here after the New York experience. He likes the small market idea.
Yeah.
And I think he has that like ability to connect with players and, be that kind of loud, motivating, follow me kind of. He's got some Vrabel to him, and everything kind of circled. Look, they lost a big kind of that big personality, follow me, buy in thing with Vrabel, which is obviously going quite well. And I think the pendulum swings back to they need a degree of that. I don't know where Stefanski is on that. I know where Robert is, and Robert ranks pretty high.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Also, I still like what is Sean McVay, that guy? Obviously, Sean McVay's strength is that he's a brilliant mind, and right. I
think he's got some of that though.
Like, does Kyle Shanahan have much of that?
Less than McVay.
Yeah, I think quite a bit less. My whole thing, I said that this week earlier when you weren't around, I'll say it to you. I think we were talking about the game tonight, Lions Cowboys. I think the Lions are a very good example of you love those guys, but then they lose their coordinators. And in particular, we can see like Ben Johnson was a big part of Lions' success. And that's the thing. So Robert Saleh comes in. That's why I kind of like the McDaniel thing with him, because I just don't think there'd be a big appetite for him to be a head coach anytime soon. But that's the problem, right? You can do that, but if you have to constantly keep replacing those coordinators, like it's just hard to always make a good hire. And I think obviously Dan Campbell did not do a good job replacing Ben Johnson. He's taken over play calling. He shouldn't be a play caller, and he's bad at it. And so there you go. You lost one coordinator, and all of a sudden, it's not the only problem they have. They have roster stuff too, but it's a big difference. And that's the thing with Saleh is, like, that's why Vrabel it's a beautiful situation for him, because there is nobody who's ever going to look at Josh McDaniels as a head coach, but he's good at that job.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a good coordinator, and you have to have a list. I mean, you have to have a pipeline. And Vrabel tried to do it and didn't do it well. I mean, he did it well with Arthur Smith, but the Downing-Kelly succession plan was not good. And so if it's Saleh,
I still think Kelly, like I think Kelly's not bad, but it was a
didn't really have
team.
personnel to work with.
The personnel thing was starting to get unsurvivable.
Yeah. But you've got to have that. So if it's McDaniel, if it's Mike LaFleur, then you've got to have, whoever it is, your wide receiver coach or your tight end coach or your running back coach or your offensive line coach is clearly being groomed to replace you if you're great and you get a head coaching job. And you've got to work like hell at that as the head coach to make smooth transitions if and when the time comes. And you can't begrudge it. Like, you've got to be ready for it and know that it's part of your program.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyone in college, you mentioned Bill O'Brien. Like, is Bill O'Brien going to find? The thing is, I figured it would be, he'd do okay there, pretty good. Like, you're not going to have crazy expectations at a place like Boston College. And last year was promising. It was like, okay, so he goes like 9-3 or something, or 8-4, and he's going to be back in the league. And I'm not saying for this cycle with the Titans, but I'm just saying he's a guy who I think of when I think of college guys. There's been talk of some of these guys. I mean, shoot, even Will Steiner just got the Kentucky job as one of those hot shot coordinator, and in college, sometimes people get interested in the NFL.
Somebody just threw out, I think it might have been NFL Network, outside the box guy for the Titans would be Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Well,
there's been a lot of people who've talked about him in the NFL.
First off, does he want to come? I mean, he's got a great situation.
No.
It's less money probably, right? But it's a better lifestyle. NFL coach has a life.
Yes.
Outside of the season.
No doubt.
A college football coach does not.
More than ever, it's a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's why Nick Saban.
I mean, you get a whole month in June/July.
Right.
A whole month.
Yeah. Your roster's set. You just we'll see. We'll see you after. We'll see you for
February is not bad, like 9 to 5, working with your coaching staff, but not slaving away. You can see your family, pretty good amount in the off season. There's a life to be had.
There is. I mean, it comes down to, but when you have one of those top jobs and you're going to get up in the 12 to 15 million a year, and you're still like almost every time out, you just have better players, right? That's where just that top shelf. That's why I thought Vrabel, and good for Ryan Day. He's proved a lot to me, but that's why I still think Vrabel would have been great there. I mean, I think it could have been an amazing thing, but it's working out okay for him.
Job security for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, pretty solid, probably better than an NFL thing. You come into an NFL thing, you've got 3 years. If you haven't turned it, you're on the hot seat. At Notre Dame, he's winning 10 games a year, 10 games a year.
If you get in the playoff every year, and they made the title game last year, so yeah.
He could be at Notre Dame for a long time.
He could be. People are confused.
I don't like that, by the way, to go with somebody who's got no NFL experience. I mean, at certain time for the Titans, that would be fine. I don't think this is the time.
No. Some confusion on both of our chats, YouTube chat and the text line driven by WilsonCahino.com about Mike LaFleur. Yes, he said Mike, not Matt. Someone's like, why would Mike LaFleur want to be a coordinator? He's talking about Mike, his little brother, who is the OC at the Rams. Not a play calling OC, but OC with the Rams. So yes, there is a Mike LaFleur. There's also a Shanahan who was at Indiana last year, who actually is not related to the Shanahans at all, by the way, which is very confusing.
That would cause
it's a very fortuitous name for him, though. It's like, Shanahan. All right. Let's get that guy in here. All right, we come back. We will have the Rex rant. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Archie, ooga, ooga. I made a roast for you tonight.
No, Archie, please don't do that.
Kim, why did you throw that interception? Go Google Gaga. Woo, look at that little man running around. He's going to be a great pro.
Not going to give out a contract like that, I tell you.
Toddy. And it's getting bigger and bigger. I say now.
Lane, you must hire a defensive coordinator, but call him a coordinator of war.
Now what? I say, what's the big idea bashing me on the noggin with a rolling pin?
Leave me alone, all of you.
You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's that time. But you really wish this stuff wasn't recorded. You know what I mean?
I think it's great.
It'd be way better if we could just talk and then not have things recorded. This is the Rex Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out. Functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Been a big help to me. Ian has not been a big help.
We used to have a
mashup
of things where everything was intentionally taken out of context and made as tawdry and bad as possible every Friday.
Well, I'd say some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Every time we spoke, we're like, oh, crap. Like, oh, no, I know that's going to come back to haunt me. That's going to be taken out of context.
Right. Like the thing where, I got a great shot to help my gout. And then, and then I said, like, something about sticking something in your butt, you know what I mean? And then you just play that part of it, and people don't know that it's a shot for gout.
I said something about circular jerky earlier. I'll probably come back to
no, I'm sure, it's just I've been texting with Kyle Tucker. Just another type of Google
learning moment.
It's another type of Google Meet thing. It's a new one. It's like Zoom, Google Meet, and CJ. Hey, send that CJ invitation. All right. Okay. I want to rant today. First of all, I like this guy a lot. And I know he seems to be the guy who is just the lightning rod right now for my anger in college
like him
football.
a lot, but I'm going to destroy him.
Well, no, it's just Kirk Herbstreit's great. I think he's the best. I know people have kind of, I don't know. I'm interested in your thoughts on Herbstreit in the NFL. I mean, at first, he and Michaels, I didn't like it that much. I think they're fine now on the Thursday broadcast. It's fine. But when college football, I think he's the best. I think he's the gold standard of color commentators. I think he's always been good on game day, all that stuff. The crap with Lane Kiffin, which I've already ranted about, so I won't do that again. Absurd. Just truly absurd. Okay. And we've covered that ground. But now we have Vanderbilt here in this town. Everybody's focused on that. They got screwed over. We were just playing a thing where, like Diego Pavia tweeted like at President Trump to like make an executive order to expand the playoff. So their people are mad here. They've made their case. They put out a 2-page thing. Well, in Texas, as you can imagine, Steve Sarkisian also not happy because he just like Vanderbilt, Texas is going to be left out of the playoff. And so his tact is, well, I guess we just won't schedule these games again. All right. Well, I guess we just won't, because the Texas and your guy Mike Herndon, I've seen him tweeting about this. It's, well, if they would have just scheduled, Ohio Wesleyan instead of Ohio State, they'd be 10-2 and they'd be in the playoff.
Is that game keeping them out?
Well, the game that's keeping them out is Florida losing that horrific game. Now, here's the thing. This is not my rant, but if Texas were 10-2 and they had the wins they have, and they have that bad loss to Florida, they're not guaranteed in. To me, the Ohio State game is a credit to them when you talk about them. And that's the thing, right? Like, how subjective are we getting? Because when you talk about them, you say, every time anybody has talked about Texas, they went up there to Columbus. They lost 14-7. That's impressive. Is it another loss? Yes. But you know what they don't want you to talk about is how they were lucky as hell to beat Mississippi State. They had to go to overtime to beat Kentucky. These things count against them in the discussion. But they're going to play it like, oh, the loss to Ohio State. Yeah, I've seen your guy Herndon, who I generally agree with him on everything. But people, when it comes to their college football teams, they lose rational thought sometimes. So, no, I don't think so. But here's what I know is not true. And Herb Street is pushing this like crazy, and I just can't understand it. He's pushing this. Well, this is what's going to happen. People are going to stop scheduling these games. Kirk Herbstreit, you work for ESPN. I promise you that will not happen. All we do is complain in college sports about how TV runs the world. And you think that now all of a sudden we're going to stop having these games? And by the way, SEC, I'll pick on the SEC in particular here because Sarkisian's in the SEC. Go ahead and do that. Do you know why you're going to get 5 teams in this year? Because in September, your league kicked the other league's asses in those games. That's the only frame of reference we have. You want to get rid of that? And you think there's not a bias against the SEC? And you think it's not going to cost you if you don't play anybody? You're full of crap. And you know you're full of crap. You're going to play them because TV is going to make sure you play those games anyway. I promise you that it will happen. So just enough with the panicky, alarmist. Oh, we're not going to have these games. I mean, Sarkisian says all this stuff the other day, and then he's like, well, yeah, I mean, of course we're going to play Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, they're coming to our house. Yeah, no kidding. You're not getting out of those contracts. You're going to play those games. And guess what? It's good for you that you're going to play those games. And if you win those games, you might have an extra loss in the SEC. You might have a super tough SEC game. But guess what? You beat Ohio State at home. Good for you. It's going to help you. It's a ridiculous narrative. We have enough stupid crap that goes on in college sports without that. And Kirk Herbstreit, of all people, working for ESPN, you know better than that.
My Herb Street objection is he doesn't even do in the NFL. He's overextended. Like to do college game day and to do the biggest game of the weekend, that's full time. There's no reason for you to be doing a Thursday night NFL game. It's a money grab. And you guys are lazy on Thursday nights. You're underprepared. It's not good. I hate the Thursday night.
I don't think he comes off underprepared, though. I really don't. I don't think he comes off.
It's a low energy.
I mean, if you
boost.
compare him to, in my opinion, to like Romo now, who I don't think even like watches the NFL anymore. You know what I mean? I just still think Herbstreit has a pretty good sense for these teams.
Yeah. Well, I admit I don't hear Sunday afternoon booths. I don't watch Sunday afternoon games.
Right.
But out of the games that I do watch, I find it to be low energy. And I hate when new things are put together and they're bad and then there's just no reconsideration. That panel that they have together on Thursday Night Football, I mean, Tony Gonzalez to me doesn't really say anything.
It's pretty bad.
Richard Sherman's all right. Andrew Whitworth walks around at like league events like he's the king. And like that's the biggest deal going on. And who's the other one that I'm forgetting?
Well, you got Fitzpatrick out there.
Fitzpatrick. I mean, whoever demanded to hear from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who now is like a huge celebrity, as if he would. I mean, you don't have to have been a good quarterback
because he's been on 50,000 teams.
Yeah, no, he's got plenty of background to have good insight, but I don't think he's particularly insightful. And this group like bonds together and walks around the owners' meetings as if they run the place. Carissa Thompson, I think, she lost me when she said she made stuff up in sideline interviews. Yeah, she should be unemployed ridiculous. For that. And instead, she acts like she is like the bomb. I hate that crew. Hate them.
I'm going to get Ed in Jersey real fast. We got Charles Robinson coming up next, so you're going to have to wait a long time. Ed Jersey, quickly on Robert Saleh.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Look, I in Jersey, I've seen Robert Saleh, the way he handled the media, and he got himself into a lot of hot water. I think a lot of it was the relationship he had with Rodgers that didn't help. But there was a lot of stories how he lost the locker room, and I get it's the Jets. But here's my main problem with Robert Saleh. Every time I hear his name being brought up, it's always in the context, well, I like Robert Saleh if he could come with this certain guy for the OC. I think we need more than that. Out of a head coach, I think it should be independent of who the OC is. And I want more out of that. I don't know. I just maybe seeing it firsthand and seeing all the stories, I'm a little jaded on him. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Thank you, Ed. When we come back, we'll have Charles Robinson. That might be something worth asking Charles about. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Third and final hour here. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kaharski in for Robby, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Also, Sunday, NFL Game of the Week, Bengals, Bills, noon on 102.5 The Game. NFL Game of the Week is presented by Circus Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. And 8 o'clock Thursday, as we do every time this week, we're happy to welcome in our friend Charles Robinson, covers the NFL for Yahoo Sports. Charles, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, gents. I guess apparently better than Robby. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be all right. Young kids, you get the germs flying around. I mean, there's germs flying around for everybody, but I think that in particular will increase the germage flying around. But we've got Paul Kaharski in here, which I know must be a joy for you to be able to talk to Paul. I mean, it's a joy for everybody who gets to talk to Paul. Okay, well, Charles, I want to start with this because we just had a listener call in on this. I know we've talked about him before with you, but I don't know if we've talked in a lot of depth about his last stop. There's a lot of interest here in Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
Interest, and when I say interest, obviously I mean fan media interest.
Sure.
But, and look, it's gone well for him. People look at him and it's like, yep, that guy should be a head coach. It's just like when he was with the Niners last time. He's a great defense coordinator. He is a quote-unquote culture coach, all that stuff. I think we've talked before, like the possibility like Mike McDaniel being with him or something like that. But I will say, like, the Jets stuff, there some of the stuff he did on the media front did to me seem like, dude, this guy can't handle this. I understand it's New York, and I understand that things, I'm sure, can get crazy. But like this whole trying to find out who's the source and everything, and it's like you're just wasting your time on stuff that like you should not have time to devote energy to. So I guess first of all, how bad was that? Was that is that a red flag that should still be kept in mind, or was it that the environment was so rough that you have to give him a pass?
Are you talking about the mole hunt, or are you talking about
the mole everything? But yeah, in general, the mole hunt. I mean, like it didn't go well. There's a lot of reasons. What's that?
I said I'm never a fan of mole hunts, especially if I know people in the building.
Yeah, well, sure, of course not. But also, like, if a coach is doing that to me, like, dude, it's hard enough to stay employed in this league. You're worried about that crap? Like, coach your team, do your job.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with extraneous BS, right? That doesn't really matter. If you win games, things tend to go their own way, and that's also been a leaky building forever. And I mean, as long as the Jets have existed, I'll say this: it's like I liken the Jets to a team that has the worst offensive line in football, and you're trying to evaluate the offense, right? Like, and you just sit and you stare, and you're like, how do I even come to a real conclusion about what I'm looking at? Because it's so bad and it's so destroyed by this one thing that every player on the field, it's almost impossible to know exactly what their real ceiling performance could be if they weren't playing on a team that's poisoned. And I'm telling you, the Jets are. It's what that organization is. It's why the NFL right now is going after the union, because of the fact that they want these report cards to not exist anymore. The driving force behind that is Woody Johnson, and
which is such a joke.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's absolutely a joke, and yet that just shows you though, kind of the state of that owner and how much it infects everybody inside the organization. And I mean, from the front office to the coaching staff to players, people come out of there and they're like, it's a well, and there's no bottom. And everybody points at Woody as being one of the significant, issues there that impacts day-to-day operations, coaching decisions, the money, how the money flows, the assessment of players, a million different things. And so I would just say with Saleh, everywhere he's ever been, aside from the Jets organization, I have heard nothing but good things. And, even the criticisms that came out of the Jets, which were very much from the top. I mean, they were just the kind of criticisms that I'm not going to say exactly what they were in terms of the wording of it, because I don't want to get anybody fried in the organization still there. But they were so petty that it was just you just brushed them off. You're like, man, that's just you're just saying stuff at this point because you're angry and you're spiteful. Like I'll give you an example of one. I know one of the things that Woody thought, he got sold a can of of BS with Saleh because he thought he was getting this fiery, emotional, coach and this leader and like all these things. And Woody didn't think Saleh yelled at the officials enough. It really bothered him that he didn't go after officials to the level where he thought, if there's a bad call, Saleh needs to be up in the official's face screaming, challenging the officiating more than he did. So there's that. And then there's, he didn't think he was a very good tactician in terms of how he called games, how he managed games, how the defenses ultimately performed. Just off the top, that's like two things where he was just like, he's neither of these. I need a tactician who yells at officials. So what does he do?
Brilliant.
He goes and he hires Aaron Glenn, right? That's like doesn't that kind of show you? Like he proved it out in the ensuing hire, because Aaron Glenn is the very demonstrative guy on the sideline who yells at officials, and who people felt like he was in spite of the injuries they was dealing with in Detroit, he was a very, very good tactician. I think, to me, Saleh was that guy that when he got fired, I'm like, he's going to get another shot. I think a lot of people thought he was going to get another shot. I don't know that people thought he would go back to San Francisco and be able to perform at this level with the injuries that they have had. I definitely think it spun up for him pretty quickly, being able to, take advantage of this situation and impress a lot of people. I personally, my interactions with him, do I think in terms of the superfluous stuff, the mole hunt and, kind of the BS that comes along with it, I think some of that is New York. I think sometimes you get lost in the maelstrom of BS that goes on, and you get, you're constantly getting questioned about things, and it becomes an irritant. And then the next thing you're doing things that might normally be out of character for you. I don't think focus is a problem for him. I don't think planning is a problem for him. I think if he's in a normal environment, that's not, anything I would really worry about. So I think he's a quality candidate. I don't think he's the only quality candidate out there for Tennessee.
Is Kevin Stefanski going to wind up being a candidate? Should we spend time talking about him?
Cleveland Radio, are you listening? Charles.
Have you not chimed in with Paul? Did you not prepare for this?
I didn't tell him, but I'm glad he asked you that question. Let's hear it.
Thanks, PK. Because Cleveland Radio listens to this show every time I do it, because I won't go on Cleveland Radio, because every time I do, I get in trouble on the Browns organization about what I say.
Long pause.
Yeah, I mean, look, it obviously has not gone well there. Obviously, over the expanse of the season, I don't know that I've ever seen Kevin Stefanski look more challenged in terms of whether he was fulfilled doing his job, right? Whether, I question at times, like, where is he at on this? Like, instead of saying, well, is management on board with him? Is the front office on board with him? I sometimes I look at Kevin and I'm like, how's he doing, man? Because his press conferences, he doesn't answer anything anymore. He seems to be miserable, which is understandable because you're going through a miserable season. If, I got asked this by Joe earlier in the season, like, is Kevin definitely going to be there? And I think the first time we talked about it, I was like, no, yeah, I mean, everybody's on the same page there. I don't know. I mean, I would assume, and again, this is me assuming, I'm not reporting this is going to happen, but given how everything has gone, given how I've kind of watched Kevin over the course of the season interact with the media and the answers he's had to, constantly recycle over and over again about Shedeur, I'm sure there's going to be a conversation about like, where are we at here? Like, is this still working? Does Kevin want to be here? How does the offense look? Who's calling the plays by the time we get, beyond week 18? It's just a lot of stuff now that you have to talk about with Cleveland that you didn't before. So my answer when we followed up on this was, I'm less convinced that he's going to be the coach, going into 2026, but that's only because of how everything has gone in totality in Cleveland. And I also say this knowing there's still some games here to be played. There's still information to be processed. I'm curious to see how this plays out, with Shedeur. And interestingly enough, I mean, and this involves the Titans in a way. I don't hear great things about this. Like the quarterback class that guys are so hopeful about when the season started, in terms of, hey, if it doesn't work out for the Browns and this other multitude of teams that need quarterbacks, there might be 6 guys, there might be 7 guys. Yeah, that has not panned out. And the guys that are expected to be at the top of this next draft, there's going to be some significant red flags that you're going to have to convince yourself about. Some of them like very experience related, some of them in terms of like skill and the tool set related. And this affects the Titans obviously, because I think, the Titans end up with the number 1 pick. Depending on how the defensive class looks at the top, I would think you got to rebuild on your hands. It behooves you to maybe move back and accrue picks and, try to have as large a class as possible, as many shots at finding starters and quality backups as possible. I don't know that there's going to be a gold rush, like a land rush to get the number 1 overall pick this year, maybe the way there was in years past. And, I think even that's got to factor in for the Browns. If we're drafting a quarterback, do we have the coach in place, and are we happy with the play calling? And will that keep us with that, Kevin, or do we part ways?
So how about Pittsburgh? Is this all media driven? Is this all fan driven? I don't imagine the Rooney family does a lot of talking about a potential coach change before the season is over, but could you see it happening, or is this just us?
They don't. That is not an ownership that says anything really about the head coach, the thought process of potentially changing coaches. And, part of that is because they never have to do it. It's like every couple of decades, it's like, oh, we might have to change coaches there. And it's, the last time around with Bill Cowher, it was not under circumstances like these. I will say this: the one thing that caught my eye, it was when Ben Roethlisberger brings up this idea of like Penn State, right? And the reason why that catches my eye is because ownership and Ben's still really close. Like he's very, very close to the family. He's remained extremely close. And so I'm like, okay, that like somebody talks, to the family, saying something like that is, like I said, it just you have to raise an antenna and go, okay, well, here's someone who's very tight with the people who are, would make this decision ultimately. And what Ben seemed to be saying, to me was more of a, hey, maybe it's like, this is a point where you just everybody kind of goes their way. Like, it's not something that's working, and it's not progressing anymore, the way that ultimately people thought it would. There is grounds, to me, when you look overall at the organization, there's grounds for massive change, sweeping change, change beyond Mike Tomlin. Like if they want to be extremely critical of, Omar Khan and some of the moves that he's made as a general manager. I mean, you do have the highest paid defense in football. It's not lived up to that. You did trade George Pickens, and everybody knew for the longest time you wanted to get George Pickens out the door. Now, not only is he a number 1 receiver, he's a number 1 receiver for the Cowboys, and I think he is their number 1 receiver over CeeDee Lamb. There's just Caleb Johnson. You draft Caleb Johnson, and It's just he's not playing, and there's a multitude of moves that were made, and then on top of it, Rodgers, that have not really worked out. You paid DK Metcalf. Now you have to ask, like, Arthur Smith, how's this offense functioning right now with the guys that are actually on the roster? Could we be getting more? It's a lot. And now Aaron, on top of it, Aaron is being Aaron and starting to say things about teammates that are causing other questions to be asked. And he had
who would have known? Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Well, now, but it's even kind of deepening now, because it's like nobody noticed. I think Florio noticed, where he said, Rodgers got asked the follow-up question, I believe it was yesterday, by Brooke Pryor, about what he had said about these, having these meetings, going over film and, guys running the right routes. And then he got asked this question yesterday, just sort of a follow-up on it. And he said something about not addressing the off-field stuff. And I saw Florio notice it. I think a couple of people, I think it's like Pittsburgh radio, there were some other people that noticed it, and they were kind of like, what? Like, what off-field stuff are you talking about? Like, we didn't know anything about some off-field stuff. Is there off-field stuff now going on with the Steelers right now? So, it's gone about as poorly as it could. And PK, I don't have any line to ownership, like straight up. I don't. Yeah. I know Ben's close to ownership. That to me is always sort of one of those lights that goes off in my head when he says something that would be related to a big move that ownership makes. It feels to me like it felt when we got to the end with Andy Reid in Philly. That's how it feels to me, where you're just like, I know this guy's a good coach, but coaches will tell you your messages go stale at some point. Like, sometimes change is what's needed
for both sides.
Yeah, for both sides. Yeah, you just need to refresh it.
Yeah, Titans will take Tomlin. They'll take Tomlin right now. I think. Gosh, I would hope so. My goodness. I don't want to keep going through all the possible Titans coaching candidates.
Yeah, that was a good 3.
But I want to hit on something you mentioned there, Charles. And I also, by the way, I do not want to talk draft. We have a strong ban on draft talk until the end of the season. But it is the number one pick with the Titans. As you said, I totally agree. Like, if they get it, and they really need to try to be able to move out of there, get more picks. Right. I mean, obviously, if you think that Arvell Reese from Ohio State is going to be the next dominant player, well, you take him. But I mean, you need to, you'd love to have that option. You mentioned the quarterback draft, and obviously we all know so many of these guys: Nussmeier, Sellers, Klubnik, Aller. I mean, really, like, up and down the supposedly great class.
They're always guys that hit icebergs.
Yeah, right. Those are yeah. So you said the quarterback at the top of the draft, red flags, because I look at a guy like Mendoza. I kind of feel like he might be the top of the draft. Ty Simpson, I think, also has a shot to be. Are those the two guys you're thinking of? And what are the red flags if you've heard things that you could tell us?
Well, okay, Dante Moore and Ty Simpson.
There you go.
They just don't have a big resume, right? Like, there's not this. And that to me now, it really scares me. I mean, it's not as bad as like Trey Lance, right? Where you're like, man, Trey Lance basically played one season of football and that was it. And then you like go back to high school, and there was like, you had to go into his high school career. He wasn't playing football, and so it's not quite that bad. But the limited resume, makes me think of like, okay, JJ McCarthy played a lot of years, but he didn't throw a lot of passes. Like, it's both from a time standpoint and then like a rep standpoint. Are these guys, have they gone through enough seasons of football to show you what adversity is going to look like, when it hits them? So I think both Simpson and Dante Moore, to me, it's like, okay, some of that skill set you're going to have to figure out it on the NFL level. And that's hard. I don't know. It makes me skittish nowadays with the way that we see quarterbacks falling apart on the NFL level, who just either don't have enough reps to show you, here's all the things I do and I can do it consistently, AKA JJ McCarthy, or, here I've got, basically one season under my belt And then when I get to the NFL level, I pee down my leg because I'm not used to what the speed and the windows look like. And it's all too fast for me. It takes time for me to figure it out. Mendoza's different. Obviously, he has the resume. I think that the thing that concerns me about Mendoza is when, like, I asked evaluators kind of help me understand what this guy looks like on the NFL level. Like, the comps you get are, well, like, okay, his ceiling is like, you want, okay, high comp is JJ or Jared Goff. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
the difference is
he
runs better than a 6'3" 40, but yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got the athleticism and mobility to when he has to access that. There's a little more there. Yeah, there's no doubt. I agree with that. But it's more, his game is very much predicated on not bringing a big, huge arm to the table. He's the guy they'll say, well, he layers the ball, and his accuracy and the timing and the footwork, and it's like all these things. I'm like, okay, like that all sounds good. Is it good enough to sit there and go, yeah, the Raiders won't screw him up? Oh, the Browns, this is the guy that the Browns will get right. This is, and then on top of that, like, does he have the line wherever he goes? Like, those are all great things to access, but you can usually access them best when you're going into a place that knows how to put an offensive line together and actually protect you. I just don't get, whether it's Goff or Kirk Cousins or, these are the sort of comps that you get. I'm like, man, that to me does not feel like the guy you rush to the top of the draft board to get. He might be the first pick overall by default because you have a couple of teams that are up there and need to get a quarterback. And if that's Cleveland, obviously they have 2 first-round picks. What's there is there. You can't wait another year to go to the 2027 class that might be better. But yeah, it's just not, there's things I think to be nervous about with this class. It's not like Caleb Williams. Yes, it's that class. There were things to be nervous about. I did not think there were as many. And evaluators were split on, but like Drake May, I did not think there were as many things to be concerned about with Drake May that other people seem to, have problems with. He had resume, he had arm, he had, he had athleticism. Jaden Daniels, sure, he's thin, but he's certainly got a resume. He's got a skill set, brings lots to the table. Penix had a long resume. Nix had a long. You see what I'm saying? Like you're in past years, you were reaching for someone where you're like, okay, well, they got a lot of experience, so I kind of know what the warts are. Or, okay, it's mixed experience, but also high skill level, so I know what the trade-off is. With these guys, it's like, because of the lack of resume for a couple of them, I think it's a little steep in terms of the gamble you may be taking. And I also wonder, our team's going to, look around and go, hey, is there a backup somewhere that maybe, could use a chance? Like Mac Jones. Is Mac Jones, is he available from San Francisco? And is that like a low rent option that we could use for a year just to kind of see what this would look like for us? And maybe he's got some tread on the tires. And teams are not, it's not lost on teams that Tampa Bay got a guy off the scrap heap, that Indianapolis, however you feel about Daniel Jones now, I guess not as great as it was, but you got that guy off the scrap heap. There's obviously a number of teams that have done that. So I think there are more options available than there used to be.
Yep. No doubt about it. Charles Robinson, as always, joins us every Thursday. Great stuff. Thanks very much.
Appreciate you.
We'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Man, look at this. You're cutting it like short. Short.
8:26.
Robby in the chair, you takes it right to like 8:29. Like, that's it.
Really?
Look at Joe trying to get out.
I guess maybe I'm better at microphone 1,
Whoa,
getting this to the sponsor. I don't know. Maybe I think I get an edge on Robby.
Robby's on his deathbed and Joe's calling him out.
Yeah. I hope he's not listening right now.
Hurtful.
Hey, did PK do the rant? Who did the rant today? I'm curious what the rant
was.
was.
I ran it about Herb Street saying that people are not going to schedule games because Texas is crying about not being in the playoff.
But I was prepared to rant about Olympic hockey ice size.
So we got we've had a lot of yelling at clouds today, as you might imagine.
Olympic hockey ice size.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it smaller. Let's make it smaller. Give him less space.
We have lots of complaints, but not a complaint with Charles Robinson. There's a segue, huh? There we go. All right.
Appreciate it. Look
Thanks.
forward to appearing on Cleveland radio
Yeah.
today.
Give him a call. Let's get
love
that.
it.
Let's get that on awful announcing.
We're sending it to them right now.
Straight to awful announcing.
See you, Charles.
All right, guys. See ya.
All right, we come back. We're going to react to that. And, PK, speaking of yelling about things, you want to yell about the number one pick, don't you? Yes, you do. You're going to. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in. I had to check with Ian. Like this. I'm enjoying a little Edgar Winter Frankenstein, baby. You know what I was listening to on the way in here, PK?
Something bad.
Nah, possibly the possibly the best bass line ever. Do you know what that would be? What would be your pick for the best bass line ever?
Off the top of my head, I'm stumped.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't know the song "Green Eyed Lady" by Sugarloaf,
All right.
I mean that's a great. You know this song, Ian?
Maybe I've heard it, but I can't think of it. Off the top of my head.
That's got to be
good candidate.
It's got to be the next intro for the last of the day. Check it out. When you listen to it, you'll know it. I think that might be the best bass line ever. For people who know it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just hard off the top of your head to come up with the best bass line.
Yeah, I mean
I don't know if I've ever heard this song.
You've heard it, dude.
I'm listening to it right now.
Seriously? You're such a
Another one bites the dust.
That's a good one.
The Chain.
That's a good one. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Chain.
That's a good
I
bass
thought
line.
you were going to say something from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Well, I was going to say there's a ton of their songs that are And actually, if you want to do, you can talk a little Geddy Lee bass lines, but PK hates Rush, so I don't know. He's got some issues.
Rush is awful.
Oh, shut up!
I just don't like whiny. voice.
Just enough. Rush is awful. I mean, it's not as bad as Robbie's Beatles or trash, but it's a pretty bad take. That's a bad take. Hey, real quick, Saturday's college football game of the week. Number 2, Indiana. Speaking of Fernando Mendoza. Number 1, Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. 94.9 The Fan, 7 o'clock. Coverage presented by Circus Sportsbook Kentucky. Is also available on the Game Nashville app and theGameNashville.com. That one, to me, is going to go a long way to determining who wins the Heisman Trophy. And right now, I think Diego Pavia may be in pole position. We'll see. Vegas thinks so. We will see. A lot of voters out there, including me. And we're not supposed to say, we're not supposed to say what our vote is until it's announced. I haven't voted yet, but right now, if I were voting today, it would be Diego Pavia. Peg by Steely Dan. That's a great bass
Money by Pink Floyd.
Yep.
Roundabout by Yes.
There you go. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. No doubt about it. All right, so number 1 pick, PK. First of all, you heard Charles there, and I thought that was very interesting. It is amazing, what the quarterback class was supposed to be. At some point, I don't have it pulled up right now, but go back to the mock draft going into the season, like Brugler had. It was Klubnik, Drew Aller, Lenora Sellers. Who did we talk about that I'm not mentioning? Garrett Nussmeier. All of them were supposed to be top 10 picks. And that wasn't even, that was just assuming that Arch wasn't coming out, right? Arch was, of course, the number 1 pick this year, right? Of course he was.
Yes.
Clearly, just because it's Arch Manning. That was out of control. And frankly, I blame a lot of media for not using their heads a little bit better than that. But all of these players have had different levels of failure. Mendoza has risen. Ty Simpson has risen. So I know that's not what you want to talk about. You want to talk about winning versus number 1 pick, but that is a very important thing to keep an eye on if you're a Titans fan. I mean, look, it's not a bad thing at all if Fernando Mendoza goes on a playoff run and plays really well.
Be great.
It's not a bad thing at all if Ty Simpson and Alabama go on a playoff run and Ty Simpson plays really well. You want legit number 1 pick level quarterbacks that NFL executives and talk themselves into. Yes, that's the guy. Now, I feel like every year someone by default is the guy. And I think maybe last year there was a little bit of that with the quarterback draft class, as we discussed ad nauseum going to the draft. But that's a really important thing to track if you're a Titans fan, is those guys, those 2 guys I'd say in particular. And Dante Moore is a good point too. Another one, guy who's going to be in the playoff, kind of late riser. I've been very impressed with him. He's a good player. So if those 3 guys do well in the postseason, it's just
who's the third? Mendoza.
Mendoza,
Oregon.
Simpson, and Moore. Yeah. I mean, it happens. I think it happens. It's happened a lot in basketball where someone kind of comes out of nowhere and, takes a team on a Final Four run.
Yeah.
So Baz Napier, LeBron James all of a sudden is like, I need him on my team.
Right.
And he wasn't on anyone's radar whatsoever, but he went nuts in a tournament for UConn. Stuff like that. But it's important. But what do you want to say about that?
Here's my question. This is what I'm struggling with. I've got a column almost complete, but I'd love your input. I'd love some text. I know that the vast majority, I don't run into anybody that really agrees with me. They want the Titans to preserve this number one pick. They think long-range health, having the number one pick enables a trade that gets them the most picks, that gives them the best chance to supplement the roster, that helps them long term. And I understand all of that, and all of that is true. But it bothers me that people don't feel any tension between that and waiting 32 weeks every year for the 18 weeks of NFL football, and then sitting down for 3 hours and being completely comfortable with your team losing and watching Cam Ward struggle and deal with it, and watching Jeffrey Simmons deal with it, and DK and Helm, these young guys who clearly would get something good out of winning. I talked to Simmons about this yesterday, and he said, when we come back, this is a little funny. He said, when we come back for OTAs, meaning when they come back for OTAs.
Yeah.
Because
I'll be watching.
I'm not going to be here. But when they come back for OTAs and we self scout and ponder ourselves, we want to look at film of us meeting our standards in some ways, to have set something for ourselves. And we can do some of that in these next 5 games. And we need that tape. If we don't have that tape to put up, we can't show ourselves what we're trying to do.
This sounds like a reach, man.
And there's value in that. I think there's value in these guys winning. I think if Cam Ward were to win 2 of the last 5 games, which I think is unlikely, by the way, I don't know that it's going to happen, but I don't believe it's going to happen. But I think there's great value for Cam Ward and some of these other guys to feel wins, and that there's long-term implications of that for him too. And I think people are too easily dismissive of that in the name of the draft. And I know the football right now is miserable, but don't we wait 32 weeks every year to see the football? Don't we care about the football?
Yeah,
even
but
if the football's miserable?
Yeah, but when it is, at some point when it's obviously miserable and the patient is terminal, I mean, do you have to think about the greater good a little bit? I would think you would.
This thing, though, where people say, I'm watching the game and I want it to be competitive and I want Cam to have a last-minute drive,
but still lose.
But don't score.
Yeah.
Get down there and throw a good pass, but get to the 1 and then get stuffed.
Right.
There doesn't seem to be any tension or emotional conflict for people. And I just struggle with that. Now, my main sports are baseball and soccer. They don't have the draft implications and all of that. But I cannot get into the mindset of rooting for my team to lose. Am I just a complete anomaly at this?
No, I think that first of all, I would argue that, like, if I'm a Titans fan, I want to see one for sure. I'd like to see one. I'd like to see, at least for the rest of the way, one time where, like, there's and again, if ideally it's like, I mean, let's be real, it's not going to be a convincing win, right? So ideally it's like a Cam Ward drive like happened against Arizona, and get one more of those and get a win. And yes, I agree that there's some value in, like, these guys, hey, we won together, this young crew, move forward. But, like, also when it comes down to it, if that doesn't happen, it's the difference between like 1-16 and 2-15. I mean, it's about, are they going to get players? Are they going to get a good coach? Like, either way, they're taking massive lumps this year. This is learn from adversity, learn from failure, and try to take it forward. Like, is 1 or 2 wins all of a sudden now we know we put it on tape. We know how to win. Oh,
it's not dramatic.
But I agree with you to a point, like a win would be good. Also, I feel like the Seattle game is a good example of, okay, Cam played well. You saw progress. There was some fight. That's a really good team. You fought back. Okay, so you lost. Hey, that number 1 pick is still – I mean, I think that's kind of balance you strike, right? But I think when you're watching it, I think a lot of Titans fans would say that they still like it's your team. So at some point, it's like, yeah, like screw the Jags or the Texans or the Colts, maybe even depending on who you're playing, right? Yeah, let's win this game. I think there's still a lot of people who feel that way.
I just don't get a lot of that vibe.
The text line is here's a text. Is Paul serious? Value number one pick far outweighs meaningless wins in a lost season. Daniel says we want competitive football and Ward to develop. Head coach so bad he values points, not touchdowns. Yep,
I agree with that.
That's Mike McCoy. T from Clarksville says Titans don't have to try to preserve their number one pick. We'll have it. Possibly the least competitive team in NFL history. We should absolutely try as hard as possible to win. I want nothing more than to win the remaining games. Just something is possible. That's where you are.
Yeah. I'm surprised to hear somebody say that. But I look at some guys like Denard Wilson, who's screwed in this. But he's worked some magic, really. And I think he deserves a result.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. No, I understand. Another text says, how about Titans won that last game of 2023 and wound up with J.C. Latham instead of Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors? Yeah. I mean, look, again, I think it's very good for the Titans if they get the number
also
one
had
pick.
years, where they had a good pick and they wound up with Corey Davis and Adoree Jackson.
Right. Sure, of course. Look, I think the Titans are safe winning one more game and probably two more games, but winning one more game, I think they're very much safe to still get the number one pick.
Probably.
No,
you don't want to be in a tie. I mean, if you're in a tie with a bunch of teams, you're picking last amongst those teams. Your strength of schedule is the hardest, which puts you at the back of any tie-breaking situation. That's another factor, I think, contributing to people. Like if you're not first and you're tied with three teams, then you're fourth. Second, you could still probably do some damage trade-wise.
You're getting some support. Paul Keegan says, I agree with you completely. Don't listen to these other fools. Craig says, Paul, think about if the radio station had a draft. You have one or two surprise shows. The next thing you know, you're hosting a show with Stilly because you had a horrible draft slot. Oh,
Stilly, by the way, isn't employed by the radio station.
Have you and Stilly done any shows lately?
I
want more Paul Stilly and Paul.
If I had a draft at the radio station, I couldn't draft Stilly because he doesn't work here.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes it's like the Oilers go get Warren Moon out of the CFL. Doug Flutie. It'd be like taking someone out of the CFL.
Yeah. Stilly and I did a couple shows for the 440 network while
I want more.
Braden was in Spain, guys scheduling big vacations during football season.
How about that, Braden? Mr. Fancy Pants over there. So you've got some support for this. More that are like, dude, no, I want the number one pick. But again, I think that you should root for the Titans to do well. And, like you shouldn't be heartbroken if it results in a win, right? I mean,
I also have a big problem with draft fascination. Like people that are more interested in seeing a guy stand at a podium and say a name than the 18 weeks we wait 32 weeks for of games being played, even if they're bleep games.
Well, that's
like you wait all year for the games. These people who wait all year to see players' names read off a card is baffling to me. I like sports. What do you like?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I do have an answer for that. We'll get to that in our last segment. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Here we go. I mean, that's a pretty good baseline, man. That's a pretty good baseline. I'm just saying. Sugarloaf, green-eyed lady.
Did this just pop on like the radio, or were you like, hey, I'm in the mood for some green-eyed lady?
I always just do random iTunes. Play my iTunes. It's one of my songs. I have like 10 million songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh,
That's
hell
funny
yes.
to come across that.
Little green-eyed lady. Let's go. The song itself is like 14 minutes long, so it's a little bit
After this, you
repetitive.
played Inagata Davida.
There you go. Little Iron Butterfly. But no, I think that might be. We've had a lot of great nominees for the best baseline. Green Day, Longview, different eras. Like you said, the Chain Flavors Mac. Pegged by Steely Dan. Any Steely Dan reference, I'm in favor of. So I like that one. We've got a lot of good possibilities.
I think we heard Reeling in the Years earlier in this show.
Is that right? You play a little Steely Dan earlier?
That might have been yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. We almost have to end the show.
Yeah.
So
This
listen.
has gone very fast.
Well, yeah. So to answer your question I don't disagree with you, but I think this is where sports and life, it's like people always want to think about the next thing. What's next that's going to make things better? People want to have hope. How are things going to get better? I agree. Like in particular, I think in particular in football, the NFL draft, and also recruiting. Now, recruiting is a little different now because things are, with people are ripping each other's players off other teams and stuff, but it's its own industry. The draft is its own complete industry. The football recruiting is its own. It's incredible.
But people were all about the draft last year. And if that number one pick went out this Sunday and played a terrific game, that's a good development about the draft. Just not the next draft, the last draft.
Very good point. Paul, a lot of good yelling today. Thank you for participating. Thanks for coming in. Robbie, hope you get better.
Robbie, get well. Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your lock.
Next man up, Jake Lyman coming up, 102.5 The Game.
Say it.